Sure. Let's put him at 3
Okay,
for now,
let's
and
put him
then
at
we can.
three.
This will be. I like this. This is shaping up to be a contentious list, and I think this will
Yeah.
be fun to duke out. When we get a little further into it.
We're ranking the careers of Hollywood Chris's. Welcome to another episode of Talk Punch. Thank you so much to both our audio podcast and our YouTube viewers for joining us. I am Brody, joined by Tudong Dylan.
Hey.
And the Rusty Ryan of this Ocean's 11, Charlie Hickman.
You come up with the most random references. Nice to see you, Mr. Brody.
I've come up with
Brad,
so
good
many.
character.
Charlie, I've been doing this nickname gimmick for like a couple years now. I sometimes, yes, I come up with random things, but I try.
Well, random's not bad. It's not code for bad. It's just I wasn't expecting an Ocean's 11 reference tonight. You could have given me a lot of guesses, and I wouldn't have gotten there. So I appreciate it.
All right. Well, if you haven't already, we'd love it if you subscribe so that way you can come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us and have some fun like we are about to do by ranking these Chris's. There's a lot of Chris's in Hollywood. A lot of them. They're all over the place. So we went in and we grabbed 10 different Chris's. And we're going to, if you've never seen our ranking videos before, we're going to lay them all out and then we're going to shuffle them all up, and then we're going to rank them.
Yeah. Lay them out.
Okay. How you guys feel about this one?
This is fun. I think this will be it's kind of a new way to kind of think through some of these ranking lists. Chris's are all the rage these days, so no Christopher Nolan in this. We're just kind of focusing more on acting-centric Chris's.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, let's get over to the screen here. So, for our audio listeners, I'm going to read them off. And then as we go, after we shuffle them out, Charlie will give us a little rundown of some of the things that you may know them from. Or maybe you don't know them and you're like, hey, that information is actually really helpful because I don't know who that is. So, first up, we have Chris Evans, and then Chris Pine, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Christopher Lloyd, Christopher Walken, Chris O'Donnell, Christopher Lee, Chris Rock, and Christopher Lambert. Do you guys ever say something enough times that then it starts to sound wrong? That's what just happened to me. With saying Christopher, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm still saying that okay, but I don't know anymore.
Christopher.
Sounds excellent.
All right. So we're going to shuffle these up just like that. Bam. So fast. All right. And then they're going to come out. Now, just because they land in one place doesn't mean they're stuck there. They might move around as other things come out. We shift it here and around. And Dylan's going to make an argument for someone random.
Definitely.
And he's going to be like, this person needs to be number 10. And I'm like, that was my number 1. So.
Oh, that does sound like me. Yeah.
So starting out, we've got Chris O'Donnell.
10.
All right. Okay, so Chris O'Donnell, he's an underdog in the Chris race, but I will say he is responsible for the iconic role of Robin in 2 of Brody's all-time favorite Batman films.
That's true.
Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. He's also responsible for Scent of a Woman, which is, Dylan still says, "Hoo-ha, Charlie."
It's true.
And then, if you're an NCIS Los Angeles fan, you love some Chris O'Donnell, 323 episodes and counting. He cannot be stopped.
That's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot of episodes. I mean,
he does not care where we put him on this list because he is cashing those NCIS checks and he is living the good life.
Oh my
He's happy to be on the list. He was like a 40-year-old Robin.
Hey.
He's like, what? Me? All right. Yes. I'll take
Holy
it.
rusted metal Batman.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
So bad. Okay. But where do we want to start with Chris O'Donnell here?
I think we're I think we all know where we're starting with Chris O'Donnell. Poor Chris O'Donnell went first.
Like
All
what?
right. Hey, you know what? Let's
Like
say
low,
I'll,
like
I'll throw
9?
out, yeah, 8 or 9, like 9 or 10, 9 or
He was
10,
on over
9.
300 episodes of NCIS. I would say if we're just looking at careers, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good, but it's
That's
bottom
pretty
3 for
good
me.
if you look at our careers with cinema and television. So yes, it's good compared to us, but it's not good compared to the other guys on this list.
Good compared to you and your day job.
It's not an insult
Excellent compared to
to
that.
be in the bottom 3 of Hollywood Chris's.
Definitely not. Definitely
Now,
not.
Christopher Lloyd, on the other hand, responsible for some of my favorite movies growing up. You got the Back to the Future franchise,
Yeah.
Addams Family, Who Framed Roger
Yeah.
Rabbit, Angels in
Oh,
the Outfield. I mean, come on. The TV show Taxi, Christopher Lloyd,
Taxi.
a national treasure. I adore him. I I might push to have him higher in this list than he belongs because I love him so much.
Yes.
I
Where would
mean,
you put him?
just his role of Doc Brown though is like iconic.
Iconic.
Like
Yeah.
you can show, I would wager that you could show anybody a picture of Doc Brown, and they would know it was from Back to the Future.
That makes sense. And I mean, hey, people would know him from the Addams Family as well. If you showed a picture of him as Uncle Fester, I mean, he was a great Uncle Fester.
Yeah. Clue
And
is
he
one
was
of my favorite all-time movies. Oh, so
Oh,
good.
Clue!
Yeah.
I forgot about Clue.
That's right. He was great in Clue. All right, where would
Okay.
you guys put him then?
I might put him
Three?
5.
5? Okay.
Oh, I thought I'd
3?
have to fight you guys to get him higher, so I was ready to compromise and then try to
4?
talk you into moving him up.
Where?
Why don't we
3,
start
4,
with 5? Why don't we start with 5
5?
and then move him up? We'll start him at 5. We'll move him up.
I mean,
I
he
just
was in
think
all
of
the
how-
live action segments of the Back to the Future cartoon, if that helps at all. No, all right. Doesn't help. Gotcha.
I never saw the Back to the Future cartoon. I don't
All right.
know.
Neither have I.
Nice, that's good. Didn't help. That's all right. Didn't move the needle. That's fine. So he's involved. He's been involved with a lot of children's shows. It doesn't matter. All right, we can talk Christopher Lloyd all night. All right, Chris Evans. Look, he's a younger Chris. There's gonna be some Chris's on the list who have ceiling left. There's helium, maybe a little more helium left in the careers of some of these Chris's than my dear heart Christopher Lloyd. But obviously, we all know him as this is America's ass right here.
Yeah.
Captain America. He's great in Knives Out and Snowpiercer, other things as well. A passable Johnny Storm. I mean, what are we talking here? Great in Scott Pilgrim. Come on.
Yes.
Great and Scott Pilgrim. Hey, I even enjoyed Not Another Teen Movie. That was back before the Not Another movies like just nosedived into straight garbage. Not Another Teen Movie. I enjoyed that one.
He's got to be
number 1. Number 2.
I wouldn't fight you on that. If you want him at number 1, I would not fight you on that.
1 or 2.
He's a really good actor, and he has a lot. I mean, like his career has a lot of range to it, with a shocking amount of like comic book movies.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna push back a little bit on number 1. I don't think he has.
Okay.
If you take the Marvel out of the resume, it's a little light, and his post Marvel stuff, it's a little light.
It's true.
But we've got a lot of Marvel stuff.
But it's a lot of Marvel
really good Marvel stuff.
I'm not saying he doesn't belong. I would say maybe more too, because I think there's another Chris who also has a pretty extensive Marvel resume that's also managed to put together a little better pre-resume and a little better post-resume.
Really?
Okay.
All right, let's put him at 2.
So where do we want to drop
you guys
Evans
here and at home? This is not my favorite Chris's, because Christopher Lloyd be number 1. It's not my favorite Chris's, but so I like Chris Evans a lot, and I like him more than the aforementioned Chris that we'll get to later. But I might put him number 2.
Okay, let's.
All right, we'll start him at 2, just like Christopher Lloyd.
All right, Christopher Lee.
Now this is a really tough one because he has had a long career.
Number 1.
Actually knew. Really?
There's only one Chris on this list that has been in both the Star Wars and the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he played a Sith Lord, as a matter of fact. Yeah, and not only that, he knew like Tolkien when he was like. That's why he always wanted to like be in the movies. He did the like a recording when they did it on like the radio or something of Lord of the Rings or The
I
Hobbit.
had
One of
heard,
those
and
things.
maybe it's one of these rumor things, was that Tolkien wanted Christopher Lee to play Gandalf.
Yeah. That's right. I heard that too. Yes.
And that Christopher Lee told that to Ian McKellen when they were like filming. Is that Christopher Lee like
Yeah,
went to
but he
Ian
was, but
McKellen
he,
and was like, I was Tolkien's first pick
yeah.
for Gandalf.
But he was way too old to do it at that point. He couldn't have done it. But yeah, oh, he was such a good Saruman. Yeah, Saruman. He also he was in the Wicker Man, not the Nicolas Cage version, the one before that. He was Dracula in the Hammer Horror.
Dracula, iconic Dracula.
He had. I mean, I know this has nothing to do with his career, but he was even in like a heavy metal band at the end of his life.
Didn't know that.
He totally was.
I can't believe you guys are leaving out his most impressive film credit, which was Commandant Rakov in the Police Academy Mission to Moscow film.
He was in Mission to Moscow? Oh, wow. He's like Christopher Walken. He doesn't say no to anything. He's just
that's
like, yeah,
range,
all right.
baby. That's range.
Oh, wow. Did he play a Russian?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, look,
a very diverse
I'm saying yes based on the credit. He was Commandant. I'm assuming it was the Rusk. I haven't seen the movie, but I say yes with authority. Like, yeah, I watch that one all the time. It's my favorite.
Oh.
Charlie, you got
Captain America 2? Death Too Soon in the TV movie in 1979.
The Captain America TV movie? Really?
Yeah, he played Miguel. Range.
Wow. Strange. I would never have ever named a character that he portrayed Miguel. Ever.
Range.
But that is definitely range. Range that we would not see in today's economy and all that kind of thing. No way. There's no way he would play that nowadays. And like I said, range.
You're gonna hurt your fingers scrolling his credits. It's a lot of credits. My goodness, that is a career.
Where would we
287 credits.
Oh wow!
In his acting career.
It's so cool.
It's a lot, man.
Yeah. Are we putting him top 5 or lower?
I think definitely top 5. Top 5 just because he was in both Star Wars and Lord of the Rings.
I mean, are we saying 3 or 4 in that case?
Oh, you don't want number 1?
Are you saying number 1, Road?
If he had been like the lead roles in a Star Wars film or Lord of the Rings,
he was in 2 of them. He was in.
Yeah, he was in. Yeah, but he wasn't the lead. He was never the lead. He wasn't even the main bad guy in either of them.
Are you saying that he wasn't the main bad guy in Attack of the Clones?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Was he Emperor Palpatine?
Emperor Palpatine wasn't in Attack of the Clones. Not enough to be the lead bad guy.
He was always the lead bad guy. He wasn't
the bad
Darth
guy
Maul.
behind the bad guy.
I'm still saying he's not like the lead. He's not like Kenobi or Anakin, not that we remember who played Anakin. The point is I mean, it's he wasn't like the main bad guy in either one. He was a big roles, but I see Charlie's point. Is my point. Oh, what happened?
Sorry. Okay, so do we want to just drop him at 3 then?
Sure, let's put him at 3 for now, and then we can. This will be. I like this. This is shaping up to be a contentious list, and I think this will be fun to duke out. When we get a little further into it. Chris Pine he's another young Chris who's building his resume. I say young. I mean, look at that beautiful beard right there. It's a Brody Jr. beard. He's got a starter. He's got a Brody starter kit on his face. But between the Star Trek films and Wonder Woman, Into the Woods, plenty of other good movies.
Number 1.
No. What are you number 1? Are you kidding?
Hey, I like the
wouldn't
Star
put him
Trek
in top.
ones. I thought he was a great Kirk. Somebody's got to
fine
be
as
number
Kirk.
one. I've proposed 3 number ones, and you guys have turned them all down.
Yes, you proposed Chris O'Donnell as number one. So
You
we
just
know,
can't
I
trust
every
your
Chris is
judgment.
your number one. It's my
I don't.
number one guy.
I don't know if I would put him in the top 5. I mean, I'm not saying that he's bad, but I mean, I would put him at 6. Definitely not 4.
Yeah.
Definitely not 4.
I mean, definitely not 4. I don't think he has. I mean, you say the Star Treks, and yes, he was fine as Kirk. Yes. Did he blow me out of the water when it came to Kirk?
he was
I
good,
don't know
as,
about
he
blow
was
me
good
out of
in
the water.
Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was very successful.
He was fine in Wonder Woman.
And we don't
But
have to
if
bring
you
up
had-
the second one, but the first one was very successful.
Yeah, he was fine in it. It wasn't successful because of him. Like, they could have cast somebody else. I'm just saying he didn't blow me out of the water with Wonder Woman. He didn't blow me out of the water as Kirk. I'm not saying he wasn't good. He was good. He was fine. He was not Chris O'Donnell.
Charlie,
But
can
was
you
he
drop
Christopher
some
Lee?
some Chris Pine knowledge on us?
I mean, he's
He's about to say
got,
number 10.
He's got it there.
He's like,
No.
yeah, sure.
He's got 4 upcoming projects. You know, he's a working actor. I think he's one of the more talented actors that are on this list. But you know, outside of Kirk, has he had like big, like juicy roles that
Dungeons
like
and Dragons
was a popular movie. And I just think maybe his best stuff is coming. I mean, he was a great Peter Parker voice in the Into the Spider-Verse.
That's very true.
Ever so briefly. But I mean, he just like resume wise, you know, it's hard to compare like what he's done versus someone like Christopher Lee or Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, just maybe not as like, I mean, and he's not even he's like maybe we could sum it up like this to my generation, and I love his Star Trek films. He's not even the most iconic Captain Kirk, and he's like my generation's Kirk, and I just and still give me 60 Shatner.
Yeah.
Charlie, is
Yes.
he your generation's Kirk?
Well, let's see. I am closer to I'm like I think him and I are very close in age versus like what was the original Star Trek William Shatner. I was not alive in like the 60s when that was made. So
But you
I
were
mean, he's-
alive when those movies were coming out, and he wasn't
Yeah,
Kirk
but that
until
was-
you were well into your 30s.
that was already an established. That's like you know, come on now. That's like he's like
it was already
been doing the role for like 20 years at that point.
All right.
By the time I'm of age, I'm seeing old movies here, but like he's like the new ones that came out when I was a boy. He was like with Picard and like round and you know puffy and not he wasn't you know I watched reruns as a boy. We're not here to debate which Kirk is my Kirk.
But let me ask you
I'm
this.
just
Let me
saying
ask you
he's
this.
not the most iconic Kirk. You disagree with
how
that
many-
statement?
How many movies was William Shatner Captain Kirk, and how many movies was Chris Pine in Captain Kirk? Because I only count 3, bro. Wasn't there like 25 that Captain Kirk was in with 3 seasons of Star Trek?
7 Star
7?
Trek. Yeah. I actually
than
agree
double.
with you that I think William Shatner is the more iconic Kirk.
So you're saying you want him at 10?
My question
Chris
to
Pine
Charlie was
at
more
10.
of: is he your generation? Is Chris Pine your generation's Captain Kirk?
Well, how old does he have to be for it to be his generation?
I don't know. We are so
old does
off
he have to
topic.
be?
No. Let's talk
we
about
are.
Chris Pine.
I mean,
I was saying
I just that was the right age for him to be my Kirk when that movie came out in 2009. I was a young man, and that was like that should have been like, oh, sweet, now I finally get a Kirk around my age coming out at a time when I'm like at the height of my movies.
Okay.
And still
Yeah.
it's like,
All
oh,
right.
no, I kind of like that 60s guy that kind of does the double accent. Anyway, I love Chris Pine, and it sounds like I'm not enjoying Chris Pine. He's just a bottom 5 Chris for me, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
So are we saying 7 or 8?
6. No, 6.
We'll start him at 6.
There's too many good Chris's on this list, Brody. It's not an insult to be on that bottom row.
All right. Chris Rock.
Chris
Tell
Rock.
me about Chris Rock.
Chris Rock has been in more movies than Chris Pine.
No,
that is not true. But
New Jack City. That's one.
Heaven on Earth.
So
Is that what it was called? Not Heaven Can Wait? Heaven on Earth? You mean Heaven Can Wait?
this is
Heaven Can
this is
Wait?
interesting. Okay, how many
Yeah.
acting credits do you think that Chris Rock has just on IMDb? Just straight acting credits.
Oh, just
It-
acting.
I'll set the over under at 80.
Oh, under 80.
Under
Yeah,
80.
I'd say under 80. Under 80, yeah. I would say under, right? I mean,
Well,
what
I
do
mean-
you think more than 80?
Like acting as a character, not like him showing up on a talk show or him on
Yeah.
SNL or something like that, right?
Right.
Less than 80. It's got to be less than 80.
Hey, Chris Pine has that less than 80.
According to IMDb, 86.
Wow. How many
What?
does Chris Pine
86
have? Like
actor credits.
25?
Chris Pine has he has 64, I think. But Chris Evans, by the way, only 60. But also Evans and Pine younger than Rock, and they'll make up that distance. But Chris Rock, obviously an incredibly talented comedian as well and host.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Best known recently for getting slapped at the Oscars.
Jeez, that was terrible.
Have you guys seen what was that the spy movie that he did back in the day?
Oh, with Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
No.
I actually have
Did
not.
I?
I do remember you talking very highly of it.
No, that is probably not. I do think it wasn't as terrible as everything else, but he's had a lot of good small roles in things like Boomerang and
Yeah, I was just thinking that one. Yes.
a few episodes of In Living Color, things like that, where he just kind of gets
Really?
to show up and be Chris Rock. Is there a lot of range to his acting? No. Was he good in The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler? Yeah.
He was in that?
Tudong, I was
Yes.
thinking of Down to Earth. That's the heaven one I was thinking of.
I was thinking of the remake. He did a remake of Warren Beatty's Heaven Can Wait.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
He also did the latest Saw movie called Spiral, and people
Spiral,
hated
yeah.
it because they were
Really?
like, what happened to his acting? Or why didn't he just act at all?
Huh.
It didn't do well in theaters. It didn't do well critically.
I
Yeah.
seem to think I
Bad
feel like
Company
he's
was the
just in
one I
like a lot of comedies.
Bad
He's in like
that's
the Grown Ups and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, those are not good movies.
No, that would lower his stock, bro. Not
But
raise it.
but the Madagascar films are very popular.
Oh yeah.
Good,
Pootie
nice
Tang?
family films.
Pootie Tang
Okay.
was great.
Pretty Tame was great. Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard to talk about his career separate from the comedy aspect.
Sure.
Because
Right.
he is really the only comedian on the list, and if we're judging him just straight on his acting, then he's probably 10. If we're considering the totality of his career, then we might put him up higher than that, because his influence on other actors and comedians is he's maybe one of the more influential Chris's that are on this list in terms of the impact that he's left on Hollywood.
Right.
But just as a straight actor,
So where would you guys put Chris Rock?
Below Pine, maybe 7.
Chris Evans is too high, isn't he? Is he too high? He's sitting there at number 2. Are we biased? Is that our Marvel bias? Just that he's sitting there with that beard and that little grin, looking at us, going, "How am I getting away with this?"
As
I do
more
like the
come
beard.
out, it may change. We'll see.
He really is charming, though, and he's got really good range. You can't say he's not a good actor, and this is
He's a good
really about acting.
It's about their
That's okay.
careers. So Chris
If you
Rock,
guys
acting
tell me
careers.
if you guys tell me this is straight acting, and while we can recognize some of the other things and say good, very good at this, but we're just talking acting, then I'd probably put him at 9 or 10.
Chris Evans?
No, Chris Rock. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean that makes sense. You
If
put
we're
him
considering the comedy, though, I would fight to push him up.
to
what
7.
about 8?
Sure. Let's get him in. I've already forgotten some of the Chris's.
Well, then it's a surprise. Christopher Lambert
Ah.
or
Now-
Lambert as Tudong.
Lambert.
Lambert.
You know, it's funny. You picked a picture of him, and he almost looks like Martin Scorsese.
Okay,
he's
so
got like
Christopher
a little
Lambert.
David Carradine in there too.
Yeah.
Christopher Lambert. I
Lambert.
enjoy Christopher Lambert movies.
There can be only one. I
I
am from Scotland, but I'm also
Okay.
French.
go and look at some modern pictures of him. He does not appear to have aged kindly. Ages.
What happened to him in this picture?
I don't know. This was one of the nicer pictures of him
Oh, wow.
that I
Let's
could
go
find.
ahead and cut to the chase and put
Yeah.
him at 10, because his acting career, has not been varied, and it certainly has not been great.
Well,
He was in Highlander. He was in Mortal Kombat.
And he was great in Mortal Kombat with his laughs.
He was not great in. Oh, bro. He was not great in Mortal Kombat. I don't think so. No, he wasn't great. He was Raiden, and he was horribly miscast as Raiden. I'm not saying he's bad in anything, but he was horribly miscast in that. And anytime you say something like he was horribly miscast, it's not a compliment to their acting at all. It's quite the opposite, actually. Where would you put him, bro, if not number 10?
He was also Tarzan in the 80s.
Oh, bro.
Yes,
where would you put him at?
Probably number 10.
All right, thank you.
It's did Brody leave off a few other Chris's to put Mr. Lambert on the list because he loves Mortal Kombat so much? Yes. But is it nice to have the there can be only one guy on a list where we're trying to sort out the top Chris? It makes sense. This is a Mortal Kombat style duel with a Highlander theme that there can be only one Chris. I'm surprised that he only has like 100 or so acting credits to his name.
Only.
Yeah. I mean, he's an older. Christopher Lloyd's got like 250.
That makes sense. I mean, that makes sense because he has range.
Range, baby.
Range. Christopher Lambert.
Yeah.
I mean, are these French like things?
Oh, Lambert. Yeah, 10. He's a 10 for me too, bro. He doesn't have that he doesn't have like a signature role too. I think that has lasted, like a Doc Brown that still has like an iconic presence in today's society.
You switched out his picture. Unbelievable. Put him at 10, bro. Put him at 10.
Fighting hard for your boy, bro. I gotta respect the hustle.
I can't believe we've talked this much about him.
Come on. Look at that laugh.
I don't think so. I am French, but for some reason I'm Raiden.
All right, let's talk about Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah,
Deer Hunter.
Dylan's got to do his impression over here.
I do it, Christopher Walken. His watch.
Famous
Whether
for
it's
his
Deer
Fat
Hunter,
Boy Slim.
Pulp Fiction, comedy movies like Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
The Fat Boy
dancing
Slim,
in a Fat Boy Slim.
Music video was great.
Yeah, he was.
He's
was
great in Severance.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so like of the older Chris's that we have on the list. I mean, he's still working. Like he was
still doing it.
In a TV show The Outlaws for a couple seasons. Severance. These are all like within the last 2 years. He's got 3 things. He's Dune Part 2 if that comes out in 2024 like it's supposed to. He's still working. He's got an iconic voice, an iconic look. And
range.
people today might not know like some of those early roles, but some of those early roles were just. I mean, this was almost Han Solo right here.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. He won an Oscar for Deer Hunter. He won an Oscar for it. How many of these guys have won Oscars?
Yeah,
for their acting. He was like for acting, not for writing, producing, directing.
Acting.
For acting, he actually has an
Pretty
Oscar.
sure
I don't know
Christopher
if
Lambert did.
Unbelievable, bro. He wasn't even invited to the Oscars, let alone won one or nominated for one.
Come on.
Hey, I don't think so.
He doesn't. If we're doing awards, man, I think Christopher Lloyd might have the most Emmys, but
That's
probably
true.
Christopher Walken's got the most Oscars here. I think.
So you guys are saying you want Christopher Walken at number 1?
No.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
Like he's a top 5 Chris.
I think he's a top 5.
In that.
So are we saying 3 or 4?
Also, did you even mention Batman Returns?
I like
Oh yeah.
his like what resume is very impressive.
Filmography.
It's
You want me to
probably
say all the good movies? True Romance, Wayne's World 2. It was so good
oh
in Wayne's World 2.
yeah.
Come on.
He was great in True Romance. That is one
He was
scene.
really good in that. Hey,
All
Joe
right.
Dirt, he was good.
Oh,
So
Cool
as
Hall
far
Junkies. He was
for career, what do
great.
I like
Yellow as a
4?
hair.
I'm thinking 4 maybe.
All right, I'm
Wow.
good with 4 for now.
Wow. Oh, I got a wow from Charlie.
No, that's
That
fine.
was-
Let's put him there for now. I think there might be a little recency bias happening here. That's totally fine. Let's put him at 4.
Were you thinking 7? What were
No,
you
no.
thinking, Charlie?
No, 4 is fine. We'll fight over it once we get everything out there.
Yeah.
There's your boy. There's your boy, Brody.
Number 1.
He doesn't do that.
It's a me.
Hey, if we're going off of careers, though, Chris Pratt
You're
has had
right.
a very
He
good
was-
career.
Oh yeah, he was great in Passengers.
I actually kind of liked Passengers.
Psychopath. I'm never going on one of those kinds of like trips with you, bro. You'll wake me up halfway there, and I'm like, "You're kidding me! You woke me up," just like he did in Passengers.
Chris Pratt is pretty unique here because he's had multiple, like he was in 89 episodes of Everwood, so like bank that, and then he had Parks and Rec, 116 episodes of Parks and Rec, so 2 successful television shows that he was a part of. Then he's got the Marvel, he's got the Lego movies, now he's got the Mario franchise. He's voicing the upcoming Garfield film.
What? Who's he voicing? Who's he in
Garfield? He's Garfield.
He's got the Jurassic World.
He's got the Jurassic
stuff.
World. Yeah, I mean, he is just like him, hate him. I mean, the guy is he is banking work.
That's true.
And my goodness, Parks and Rec is a good TV show.
He was in Wanted.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's right. He played some naked guitar in the OC.
Really?
Oh yeah, and Parks and Rec. So, as far as I know, the only guy who's played a nude guitar in 2 different television shows on this list. Even in Moneyball, he was in Moneyball.
Oh, he was in Moneyball.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we are looking at careers, he probably actually is number 1. He has been in a lot of successful franchises that are still going. Like Mario, we've only had 1 Mario. That thing's gonna be a beast. We're gonna get at least 2 more of those.
Yeah, that's true.
Even after Guardians 3, it said Star-Lord will return. Like he's not done with Marvel.
That's good. I don't understand all these people who are like, I'm done with Marvel. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm glad that he's like, yeah, of course I'll come back. Like, I don't get why they're like, I'm out of here. Like, it's ridiculous. All right, so are we thinking number 1?
That was my thought. That if we're putting Chris Evans at number 2, I can't put him behind Evans.
Yeah.
Because they both have that nice Marvel resume. You could argue that Chris Evans, Captain America, was more central and core to like the Marvel stuff, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But I mean, the Parks and Rec and Everwood and all that stuff, plus all the new franchises that he's starting.
Right.
I don't know.
That's true. It's a good point. Good point.
I think that's good. It's good and fair.
Last up, we have Hemsworth.
Okay.
Another Marvel Chris.
Another Marvel Chris. So we got all the Marvel boys.
I like Chris Hemsworth. I like him. But it sucks because he doesn't have a lot before or after Thor that is really noteworthy.
Well, he's got the Extraction movies that are like the Netflix.
Oh yeah. That's right.
He
does have the Extraction. That's right. Yes, that's true. Touche. Thank you. I forgot about those.
He was also signed on to be Hulk Hogan in a Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, he still is, isn't he?
I don't know what's happening with that. I haven't heard anything about it in years.
I hope he still does that. That would be really cool to see. The
He's
question
also... Sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
No. What else is he in?
Well, I was going to say that he also played Chris Pine's dad in the Star Trek movie.
Yeah. That's
He did.
right. Which means, obviously, we have to put Pine at 7 and him at 6.
Pine calls him daddy, so I mean, but I will say, look, the smallest amount of credits on this list by far is Hemsworth.
Really?
So he's coming in at 46 previous, like he's filmed 46 things that he has credits for, plus 5 upcoming. So I mean that's he's like 20 roles sub anybody else. Now some of that can be inflated by whatever shorts and voice. So we'd have to really dig into the minutia of all that to kind of really suss it out. But he I think it's safe to say that he's probably I think he's the youngest Chris, so probably it's understandable that he has maybe the shortest resume. Although I guess he's probably roughly the same age as
I would think
Pine
Pratt,
and
I mean,
Pratt.
Pratt's pretty.
Evans is Evans the youngest? Who's the youngest? All right, talk amongst yourself. I'm gonna look up the youngest.
Personally, I'm going to be honest, bro. I would put Hemsworth at 6 and Pine at 7.
Really?
Yes.
Pine has done so much more, though. Like I can think of Dungeons and Dragons. I can think of Wonder Woman. I can think of Star Trek. I can think of other, and then Hemsworth. I can think of Thor. I can think of Dracula, which I've never seen, but I know that it exists.
He did that one movie with the it was supposed to be a thing on Moby Dick, that whale movie he was in, and he did a race car movie.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't. What was that called?
Hemsworth.
Yeah.
You're thinking of True Story.
No.
Extraction. Men in Black International.
That's one. He was a race car driver in it, but also a mercenary.
Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh, he was in Snow
that's
White. And
right. Yeah, that's true.
He was good in Cabin in the Woods. I thought I liked him in that.
Oh, he was great in that.
But that's
maybe
like
a Perfect Getaway.
classic.
I'm not sure which movie you got. You're looking for Perfect Getaway, maybe, or
that's a
Cash. I don't know. Ghostbusters. He was in. Apparently.
Oh, he was.
I think
that's right.
All I know is that when I see him on screen, I'm a lot happier than when I see Chris Pine on screen.
Chris Pine was Jack Ryan, though. Jack Ryan.
So was Ben Affleck, and we all know how that turned out. He was a Jack Ryan who hit himself in the head with a hammer several times. That's how he got ready for each take.
But there have been very few things in this podcast that have surprised me more than you not bringing up Smoking Aces when talking about Chris Pine.
That's right. That's right. That's how he became big, bro.
He was in
Smoking Aces.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I really like that movie. All I can think about with that movie is Ryan Reynolds, because that's why I saw it.
Shocker.
He was in Smoking Aces?
Yeah, I like it because Ben Affleck gets shot in the head very quickly.
God, I need
so we
to
don't
go
have to
watch
deal
that
with
movie
at all.
You should watch that again, bro. That's like your jam.
Yeah, every stupid Ben Affleck cameo should end that way.
All right, or just getting hit. We need a ruling here. What are we doing here? 7 or 6?
Okay, so here's the thing: this is the last one. How are we feeling about the top 5?
Is Christopher Lee too high?
Is Chris Evans too high?
Chris Pratt too high.
No, I think that actually, if we're just going off of careers, I think that Chris Pratt is probably the most successful.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm just.
I think maybe Christopher Walken is too low. Is Christopher Walken too low?
But like
Walken over Lee?
Yeah, I mean, Walken over Lee makes sense.
Really?
It really does. Yeah, it does.
We're talking about Star Wars
in so
and
much.
Lord of the Rings. What else?
But I mean, he was the headless horseman in Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. You didn't see his head for most of the movie.
You knew it was Christopher Walken, even when it was, the guy who played Darth Maul, his body double. You knew it was Christopher Walken the whole time. It was beautiful.
I just think Oscar winner.
Yeah, right.
Just I feel like that's like a trump card that he has that just no one else on this list has. But I mean, he was in Annie Hall. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Deer Hunter, and like a lot of these older
Christopher
movies.
Walken was in One
Yeah,
Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
yeah. No, sorry. That's Christopher Lloyd. Excuse me.
Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, that's true.
Now I'm getting my arguments for old Chris's all mixed up. A View to Kill.
Oh yeah, View to a Kill. He was a James Bond villain, bro.
King of New York. I mean, come on.
That's true. All right. He also was almost Han Solo. So he was almost in Star Wars, which is one of the.
And you loved, Brody. You loved Click. All you ever talked about when that came out was how much you loved Adam Sandler and the movie Click.
I still haven't seen that one. That's one I haven't seen.
You're not missing much.
You lied to me.
Okay. So now we have Walken over Lee. Are we keeping Lloyd where he is?
I mean, I'd put Lloyd over Lee, but
for acting career.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Christopher Lloyd, Emmy winning Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, he did win an Emmy.
Okay.
He's won 3 of them for crying.
Wow.
Okay, so it sounds like our top 5 is good. So now the bottom 5. So Hemsworth is falling into the bottom 5. Is he going to 6 or is he going to 7?
6.
Charlie?
Man, I'm real torn on this.
This is a tough one.
You're a Pine 6, Hemsworth 7.
I think so.
Road, is that where you're at?
Yeah, I think so.
I think probably I would say as a cop out that I'm more impressed by Pine's career, and Hemsworth is definitely more famous.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I think he's even more likable on screen. Like
Chris Pine?
No. I'm not saying Chris Pine.
He's likable. What are you talking about?
I didn't say he's unlikable. I mean, he's not Ben Affleck. I'm just saying Chris Hemsworth, I think, is more likable on screen. Like, I root for him instead of rooting against him. Where I can see myself rooting against Chris Pine, where I'm like, it's pretty arrogant, Kirk. Pretty arrogant.
Yeah, but he was Kirk. That was the character.
Yeah, but I never ever said that with Shatner. With Shatner, I was like, yeah, do it, Kirk.
Thor famously never arrogant.
Never arrogant.
All right. Well, we got to make a decision.
Like he seems like, but I mean, it's not really career wise. It's just acting wise. I mean, he seems like he doesn't take himself nearly as seriously.
Yeah. Let's put Hemsworth 6, and let's put it was a lot. He was in a lot of Marvel movies. We'll give him the bump.
All right.
Give him the Marvel bump.
Okay. And then
plus he's had to outshine all these other Hemsworths. As far as we know, just the one Pine.
Okay, and then...
I'm actually kind of surprised now that Pratt and Evans are so high after talking about Walken and Lloyd.
I know. I think Evans might be too high, but that's all right.
Is he? Should we drop him one?
This is high recency bias that we have going on. I don't know the demographic of people who will watch this episode. It could range from younger people going, "Why do you have all those crusty olds on the top?" to people who are, going like, well, "How could you even think of comparing Evans to like Walken and Lloyd and Lee?" So look, no matter what we do, it's wrong. There's no way to. This is just our opinion and a snapshot in time.
Okay, so here's my question then: should we swap Evans and Walken so that we're staggering a little bit of the older and the newer?
Well, if we pushed back Evans, why not Pratt? I mean, yeah, his career is impressive, but is it impressive as Walken's? And is he even, like, his range is... it's never, ever... No one's ever been like, that chameleon actor, Chris Pratt. They've been like, that actor who's kind of the same in a lot of things, Chris Pratt. He's
Because
not an Oscar winner.
Pratt has been in so many franchises. Like,
That's true.
he
That's
has
a
been
good point.
incredibly successful. And I will say,
We're
people were raging about the Mario thing, and I thought he did a good job. I enjoyed Mario.
hey, I enjoyed Luigi, but we're not doing a Charlie Day list.
Not yet, at least. Okay, are we swapping Evans and Walken? Are we
Swap
leaving?
Evans and Walken, and then that breaks up a little bit of the visual. Walken does get dinged for not having a beard, so we'll keep him in number 2. This is a bearded man's game. Sorry, Chris
Bearded
Lloyd.
man's game.
Yeah, it is.
Could have gotten we couldn't get a bearded picture of some of these guys. Come on now.
Mm.
All right. Are we sure that Christopher Lambert is number 10?
He's lucky to be on this list, bro. He's lucky to be on this list. You think he's better than Chris O'Donnell? He was Robin. I don't care that they were horrible movies.
All right. Are we good with this list then?
Good with this list. Print it.
Okay. Let's read it out. So at number 10, we unfortunately have Christopher Lambert. Should have been higher.
He's lucky to be on here at all.
At number 9, we've got Chris O'Donnell. Number 8, we've got Chris Rock. Number 7, we've got Chris Pine. Number 6, we've got Chris Hemsworth. Number 5, we've got Christopher Lloyd. Number 4, we have Christopher Lee. Number 3, we have Chris Evans. Number 2, we have Christopher Walken. And number 1, we have Chris Pratt. That was a tough one. That was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I agree. I can't believe you tried to bump up Christopher Lambert.
You know, this will be a fun one. Maybe we'll put out some individual Chris rankings for some shorts, so we can.
There you go.
We can right our own personal wrongs. Brody can put Christopher Lambert number 1 for no reason at all.
Jeez.
Hey, I like
just for Mortal Kombat. I don't think so.
All right. We've gone long. Charlie, can you close us out?
Yes. Look, there was no way we were going to have the right 10 when we started this mission. So let us know where we went wrong. We could have 10 different people with 10 different answers. These are all great careers, and it's worthy of celebrating all of the great accomplishments of these various people. I look forward to doing more of these. And if you like this, hit some of these other videos. And speaking of accomplishments, look at that beard. Hit that like and subscribe and help support Brody condition, cut, trim, and shape that beautiful sculpted beard.
See you guys later. Be more like Chris.